Welcome to Gamers Platform. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Adam Wolf from Gamers Platform, and in my endless quest to find more games to do updates on, I have come across, of course, Heroes of the Storm. It's another multiplayer game. I was thinking about also covering the changes that came to StarCraft 2, but I don't play the multiplayer in that, and I don't think there's too much interest around that. At the moment, I mean, there's probably barely any interest in Heroes of the Storm, but I enjoy the game, and I think if you're an advocate player of the game, and I think it's only fair that I bring some light into the realm of the bug fixes that came along with the most recent patch to Heroes of the Storm, patch 30. Wow, I was going to say 3.0, but 30.4. I don't really think that there's been 30 patches, but then again, I could be wrong. Game's been out for a bit, so why not? I'm not going to be going over everything. As usual, I'm going to leave the link to the patch notes in the description so you can take a look at the changes in more detail, but they do go over a few things. 3 heroes get a few changes done to them. Medivh, Ana, and Sonya all have gotten changes, and it's a huge list of changes. That's why I'm not going to go over all of it, because this video would be extremely long. But you can check out the patch notes for yourself and see if any of those characters are characters that you play, see what their changes are, and see if you like them or not. But we are going to be going over primarily the bug fixes. There have been new bundles released, new skins released, new mounts released, but again, that's not what we're here for. We're here for what did they do to the game to fix it. I mean, the bugs list alone is long, so you know that's why I'm only going to focus on the bug fixes in this video, because it could only really be in its own video. So to kick things off, we've got general fixes. Just one fix in the general tab. Fix a number of typo and tooltip errors across several aspects of the game. That's it. In the general grand scheme of things, that's the one thing that they focused on to fix was typos. I think people can forgive typos sometimes. But that's all they fixed in the general tab. Moving on to the art tab. I know, quick, rapid fire, boom, boom, boom. We got a few characters that got some artistic updates. Abathur fixed a pair of small holes in Xenotech Abathur's model. Blaze. Blaze is the bland noob there. Blaze, a brand new character, actually. Talent icons for adhesive, petroleum, and oil dispersal now use different colors, so they are easy to differentiate at a glance. I imagine that they were probably both orange. Greymane gets his health bar will no longer move during his victory animation. It's a very strange one. Oh, Greymane got 2 updates here. The Dr. Wolf and Stein Skin's Inner Beast visual effects no longer appear misaligned during Greymane's Hearthstone animation. Sergeant Hammer. Neo Steel Plating's visual effects now correctly match Sergeant Hammer's model while in siege mode. Tassadar. Moving while in the Mecha Tassadar skin's mount form on Sky Temple will no longer cause flickering visual effects to appear on screen. And last in the list, Valeera. After activating Crippling Poison and Wound Poison, visual effects on Valeera's blades will no longer flicker while she is riding certain mounts. So it sounds like there's quite a few flickering issues with some of these artistic or visual effects. It just really seems like that's a major problem. Moving on to some Battleground changes, we've got Mage Wars Brawl. Kael'thas can now correctly cast Verdant Spheres as soon as its cooldown completes. The Mercenaries fix an issue in which neutral mercenaries could spawn twice at their mercenary camp under specific circumstances. Boy, that'd be a benefit to whoever freaking came along on that camp, right? You have 2 sets of mercenaries, and it's just like, all right. That kind of, I wonder if that actually would have added extra mercenaries. Like if you came across a mercenary camp of 3 mercs and you beat both groups, does that make it 6 in the lane? I'm curious about that. I wonder if that's how that was broken. Try mode got a little bit of a fix. Zul'jin's headhunter talent will now progress correctly after killing the Lost Vikings. That's oddly specific. Zul'jin specifically against the Lost Vikings. One of his headhunter talent did not progress correctly. That's weird. That's weird. I wonder if it's because the Lost Vikings are all separate characters, so it didn't really count or didn't progress properly when killing just one of them instead of all of them. Just taking a swig of water. All right, heroes, abilities, and talents. This is the longest part of the bug fixes list, so strap in. Brightwing. Soothing Mist will no longer heal allies who are standing nearby while Brightwing is inside an Uberok's cocoon, Lieutenant Morales' Medevac, Stitch's Gorge, or Zagara's Devouring Maw. Well, that makes sense, because if she's being cocooned or medevaced or whatever, if she's in a position where she cannot cast any other ability, then I think it's only fair that her healing ability shouldn't be able to be cast either. That's a little bit overpowered. So no wonder people liked her. Here's a second fix. Phase Shift can no longer be cast on allies who are in stasis. Makes sense. Character's not technically moving. Not active, so it only is fair that she can't just come in on a character that's not really alive, technically. Still alive, just not moving and not doing anything. Diva fixed an issue that could cause Big Shot to deal no damage after learning the Pew 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 talent. That's really what they called it. And becoming affected by another damage or spell power reduction effect. Okay, I'm just trying to read it again real quick to see. Okay, so Big Shot could cause Big Shot to deal no damage after learning Pew Pew Pew, and becoming affected by another damage or spell power reduction effect. Well, now it's fixed. There you go. You can do Big Shot damage after learning the Pew 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 talent. Gall. Shadow Bolt Volley's targeting reticle is no longer visible to enemies through the fog of war. That seems, yeah, I mean, that would have seemed a bit too easy for Gall to know where their enemy was located. I mean, you could see it through the fog of war. That seems a little bit broken to me, yeah, so I'm glad they fixed that. We've got some general fixes in the heroes' abilities and talents. Fixed an issue that allowed certain abilities to affect enemy heroes in their own Hall of Storms. And these I actually will put in the list here. I think it's a really, it's a small list. So, those are the abilities that affected enemy heroes when they were in their Hall of Storms. Basically, they're where they spawn. Okay, Hanzo got 4 changes, or 4 fixes, so to speak. Casting Storm Bow and Quick Cast turned off will no longer prevent the player from issuing movement commands by holding down right click. Okay. Yep. Again, it's a very specific bug. Issuing a stop or hold command will now correctly halt Hanzo's movement and cancel Stormbow's prime state. Casting Stormbow immediately after Dragon's Arrow will no longer cause Hanzo to become stuck in Stormbow's prime state. Well, that's good. You don't want to be stuck in an animation that you're not doing. Striking an enemy hero with Sonic Arrow just before they enter their Hall of Storms will no longer cause Sonic Arrow to display odd visual effects. So, if you're a Hanzo main, 1, I hate you, and 2, there you go. He's fixed a little bit. Nazebo. Using a mine entrance or exit on haunted mines during Gargantuan's summoning animation will no longer cause Nazebo to lose control of the Gargantuan. Using a mine entrance. Why was that just on Nazebo? I feel like that if that's a bug with one character, it should be a bug with all characters, but apparently Nazebo's just... Oh, because of the Gargantuan, right? That makes sense. I got confused about the haunting or the summoning of the boss in Haunted Mines, not the summoning of Gargantuan. So when he summoned it on entering or exiting the Haunted Mines, the Gargantuan he'd lose control of it? Interesting. So would it just go off and do whatever it wanted, or would it, like, stand still? Like, would it do nothing? Rexar. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Raynor. Cooldown reduction granted by a card to play will no longer trigger twice after killing Leoric or Uther. Again, another very specific set of heroes that this happened against. Man. Programming must be really hard. I know it is. Rexar. Entering a Garden Terror while Misha is dead will no longer prevent Rexar from issuing commands to Misha after she respawns. So, well, okay, but I can see why that caused an issue, just because, like, you're not Rexar, you're playing as the boss. So, you know, the commands that are normally on your character regularly they're gone when you're the Garden Terror, or probably even when you're the Dragon on Dragon Spire. So, you know, I can see why you wouldn't be able to issue commands to your pet while you're in that state. But, you know, I guess they felt as though it wasn't fair to the character, so now you can issue commands to Misha after she respawns. They had a change here for Samuro. Can no longer swap places with a mirror image that is in the allied Hall of Storms, but they said, after some consideration, we believe this tactic can make for clever plays and have decided to revert this change. So that one did not stick, unfortunately. But I'm reading out to you now, because, you know, why not? But Samuro did actually receive a change. Mirror images now correctly play level up and quest completion visual effects when Samuro levels up or completes a quest. Sergeant Hammer. Commands can now correctly be queued while Sergeant Hammer is returning to tank mode. Tassadar's got two fixes. Fixed an issue that could cause basic attacks in Archon form to deal splash damage twice to secondary attack targets after learning Prismatic Link. It's a long one. And completing the Templar's Will quest and learning Twilight Archon will no longer grant extended range to Tassadar's first basic attack in Twilight Archon form. So if you understand any of that, there you go. Because I don't understand. I don't play Tassadar. Not yet. I haven't. In a lot. Ever. I don't think. I don't know if I have him, to be honest. But there you go. If you had problems with anything of that nature, there you go. Tracer. The bullet spray talent now correctly increases the melee's radius by 40%. The melee's radius? Like, melee heroes? Or her melee. Huh. She has a melee? I didn't know that. Tyrael, the remaining duration on bonus armor granted by the Stalwart Angel talent after using Eldruin's Might to teleport will now correctly appear in the buff bar. Tyrande, the Darnassian Archery talent's buff bar icon will now correctly display displays the current number of stacks in addition to its duration. And Zagara, last but not least, fixed an issue that could cause heroes who were caught in the center of Devouring Maw to display their exit locations before Devouring Maw expired. So, who were caught in the center of Devouring Maw to display their exit locations before Devouring Maw expired. I can see where that'd be a bit overpowered in a sense where Zagara can see your every movement when you're out of the maw. But isn't that kind of the point, though? Because she's got you trapped. So she's in control. So don't you think she should be able to see the exit location so she can do more damage? I mean, I don't like facing against Zagara. She's hard enough as it is. But at the same point, I also see the reasoning behind being able to see that, because she's in control of the character at the moment. And so I don't know, maybe they just thought it was too much, so they just like, look, you can't see their exit locations anymore, making it a little bit more challenging. But I just think that it wasn't really that big a deal personally. I mean, it would give them a heads up, which is very beneficial when you've got Zagara on your team. But whatever. All right, we're down to the last two categories. We're going to be going over sound changes. Anna, Debilitating dart activation is no longer audible when the player camera is far from Anna's location. Yeah, you don't want to be hearing crap that you're not looking at. That would just be very distracting, so I can see why they did that. Falstad. Lightning Rod is no longer audible to enemies through the fog of war. Wow, it was before? Jeez. So that's a huge tactical advantage to the enemy team, because then they know what you used. And you don't want that. You want to surprise them. Surprise them. I can't speak today. Surprise them? I sound like I have a lift. And last but not least, Greymane. Gilnean Cocktail will now correctly play sound effects when it hits a target in the fog of war. Last category, user interface. Draft mode. Using the voice volume control in a draft lobby will no longer prevent players from viewing teammates' profiles using the right-click context menu. Minimap ping icons will no longer appear faded on the minimap while shaders are set to medium. That seems a bit, yeah. I mean, the graphical fidelity of the game should not dictate what shows up on the minimap, seeing as how it's very basic. You know, so, I mean, not being able to see the icons clearly is kind of bad, especially if you don't have a microphone. You want to be able to, you know, communicate as best as you can with your team, other than typing, of course. And if you can't see the pings of your teammates, that doesn't really help. So, good. And the last thing on the list, score screen. The in-game score screen will now correctly track quest progress for Diva's Crash Course talent. So, again, this was a really big list in itself. The bug fixes. So we're already going on almost 17 minutes, and that was just me going over the bug fixes. Can you imagine how long this video would be if I went over everything? But patch 30.4 is out now. You can take a look at the rest of it for yourselves. If you're interested in either of the characters that got updates, Medivh, Sonya, or Anna. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I was informative enough and my flubs didn't confuse you. And please join me again in the next update video, where who knows what game is going to be. But you can bet your butt that I'm going to be covering it. And if you have any, like, suggestions of other games that you want to, you know, hear patch notes to and stuff like that, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to cover any and all games if possible. Probably try and stick to multiplayer games, but because I can't imagine that people would want to or care about single-player game updates. But if you do, hey, that's cool too. I wouldn't mind single-player updates myself, but, you know, that depends on the game. And don't forget to check the other links in the video description, certainly the one for Extra Life. Trying to raise that $200 for my local children's hospital, and I could really use the help. We haven't made any money yet, but we've got all year to do it. So don't worry if you can't give. It's $200, and I can guarantee you we will get it by the end of the year. But if you can give, don't hesitate to donate. Also, like, dislike, subscribe if you haven't. All that garbage. But until next time, guys, I'm Adam Wolf. This is Heroes of the Storm, and I will see you guys in the next one.